Well, Oluwashina Okeleji is the African football journalist based in Nigeria. Joins me now live from Lagos via Skype. Good to have you with us on the programme. As far as George Weah is concerned, these are huge challenges ahead at a very delicate time for a peaceful transfer of power. Is he really up to the job?
Well, for a man to score goals, it's easy. People would say as a footballer, but to run a country is a very huge challenge. For George Weah, he's inheriting a country that is actually expecting so much from his shoulders. As a politician, he spent about 10 years trying to get himself into powers, and challenges that comes from social to political and all of those problems that needs to unite Liberia. I think the people who have mandated him with their vote trusted him and they believe in him and they think he's the man. A lot of people would come out and say he's inexperienced, he lacked all of the political savviness and all of that, which actually cost him the first time he contested. But I think Liberians have put their faith in a man they trust, in George Weah.
Indeed. OK, they trust him, they voted for him. It looks like he's got the top job, but corruption is rife. Poverty, it's one of the worst countries in Africa for poverty in terms of the amount of money people earn, less than $2 a day. The health service is in tatters. He's promised to fix all of those problems. And with an unemployment rate of 4%, he has a very tough battle on his hands, and he's got to get people on side.
Absolutely. He's come out to say that the solution to all of those problems just does not lie with him, George Weah. He's counting on a lot of Liberians who are not just in the country. Many of them will live outside of the country to help in coming together to fix the problems. These are challenges that any African country leader will actually face. So George Weah is not a novice when it comes to all of these problems. When he was campaigning, he said something very key. He said he's gone around the United States, where a lot of Liberians are, as well as some European countries, to convince a lot of people who are highly experienced, economists, doctors, lawyers, and a lot of people to come back home to Liberia, a country that has been plagued with a lot of problems. These challenges are huge when you hear analysts talk about it. But George Weah remains confident that the people of Liberia, alongside his party and all of those opposition party, the opposition party as well, they can still fix the problems.
Let me bring this in then. In May, he was speaking to an online news agency, and I quote, he said, "When I become president, I will make sure we do everything to invest in agriculture to create employment for our people and for our people to be able to sustain themselves." Politicians say all the right things, don't they, when they want to be elected. Can he deliver when his election opponents were two warlords, a former ex-girlfriend, and now a disgruntled former sitting vice president? They stand in his way to block his plans, potentially.
Absolutely, and the success of Liberia lies in everyone. This is a country that had to go through a huge civil war that has actually cost them so much in terms of facilities, infrastructures, youth. He's done so much as an humanitarian. He's invested his money in not just sports. When he was a player, captain, as well as a coach, he's invested his money in the Lone Stars. He's done so much to actually bring back a lot of child soldiers to come back to the country and help develop the country. I think all of those opponents that you've mentioned there, the challenges that will be facing him, is a man that is always open to peaceful resolution and conversation. Remember when he lost the last election, people were pushing him to actually take it to court, continue to drag it on, and he said, no, when it's my time, it's my time. I believe together they can all come together to fix Liberia as a country. He's talked about peace. He's mentioned something about reuniting opposition parties, because Liberia is bigger than any individual. I think for a man like that, a lot of Liberians, they've seen him. He's convinced them when he was not a president. He's done so much as a footballer. They believe as president, he can do so much more by bringing the country together. It's a country that is disunited in terms of politics and all of that, but I believe George Weah can actually deliver.
Well, let's see if he can. And for the moment, Oluwashina Okeleji there in Lagos. Thanks so much for joining us, sir.